Hello friends, welcome to Shah's Institute for IAS Examinations. So today this video is about choosing an optional subject for UPSC mains examination. Now many of you, especially those who have never given mains, who have never written mains or who have just entered the civil services examination field, are always confused about which optional subject should we choose, how to go about the examination, because there are so many optional subjects available. So I hope this video, by the end of this video, you will have a clearer picture as to how you should go about choosing an optional. And we will also discuss sociology as an optional for civil services examination. So first let us briefly discuss, for especially those who have never attempted the examination, as to what is the scheme of the examination. Now the civil services examination consists of two parts. One is the preliminary and the second is main examination. This main examination is followed by a personality test, which is basically your interview. Now, if you closely see the notification UPSC releases, this preliminary examination is only qualifying in nature. So qualifying basically means you just need to qualify this examination to give the main examination. As the name suggests, main examination is the examination basis on which you will be getting a rank in the examination and allotted a service. So preliminary examination is not the purview of this video today. So we will talk about the main examination. So, which are the subjects in the mains examination? The first paper will be an essay paper. This will carry 250 marks, in which you will have to write two essays. There will be two sections. Each section will be having 4 topics. So out of the 2 sections, you have to attempt one essay topic in every section. So in 2 sections, you have to attempt 2 essays. So each essay will be 125 marks. So for 2 essays, the total number of marks for this subject becomes 250 marks. The second paper that you have is GS paper 1. And like this, you have GS paper 2, 3 and 4. Each paper having 250 marks. So GS paper 1, as some of you might be knowing, consists of culture, history, geography, Indian society and likewise topics. GS paper 2 consists of your polity part, your governance part, international relations and all those topics. GS paper 3 consists of your economy part, your internal security part, environment, technology, science and technology and all these. And GS paper 4 is ethics paper, which has been introduced in the 2013 examination. Then you come to your next paper, which is your optional. Optional paper 1, and you have an optional paper 2. Each paper is 250 marks again. So now if you total all these papers, ultimately your total mains examination is out of 1750 marks. Now if you just go by the first look of this pattern, you will find that GS is having 4 papers, each of 250, so 1000 marks. So it's pretty obvious that many students feel that GS is more important than any other papers in the whole scheme of examination. But I tell you, this is not the case. Now, there are many reasons. If you see the scores in GS, out of 1000, it's very difficult to cross, say, 420 marks. Very few people cross 420 marks, and GS is very dynamic. It's full of current affairs and which is changing every day. The syllabus is vast. So, no doubt you have to score well in GS. You have to manage a score of above 400 in GS if you have to finally make it to the list. But it's very, the highest, the average scores people get is not more than 420. Whereas, in optional, out of 500, if you have prepared well, you can easily score a 300 above out of 500. So if you see, this translates to around 42%, 420 out of 1000 marks. Whereas in optional, you see you get 300 out of 500, which is almost roughly, say, 3 by 5. %, marks. And plus, in general studies, you have to work hard to earn this 42%. You have to prepare throughout the year. Whereas in optional, within a span of say like 2 to 3 months, you can prepare well and you can get a 60% marks here. So this shows the importance of optional paper in the whole scheme of main examination. So now there are a variety of optionals available. You have optionals for science, engineering, you have optionals of humanities, you have optionals for management. For every stream of your graduation, you have an optional available. So suppose students who have done their graduation in say political science or history or sociology can go for those optionals. Then there are optionals for science subjects like physics, chemistry, mathematics, medical science. Then you have optionals for management subjects like commerce and accountancy. So there are so many options available and you can choose any one. You have to choose any one of them. So students are often confused, which optional you should go for. So we'll just take a glance about some of the factors that we should consider to choose an optional exam, optional paper. So the very first point which you should consider before choosing an optional is your own interest. Now, it's very easy to say what is your own interest. But, often we do not know which optional is of interest to us. So, how can we understand whether the optional interests us or not? Now, there are various things you can do. You should first go through the NCERTs. You should first go through the NCERT of your optional. So, suppose if you are interested in, say, geography or say political science, just go through the basic 11th and 12th standard NCERTs. Just go through the first few topics and you will come to know whether you are really enjoying reading it or you are not enjoying it. This is the first thing. Secondly, you can consider your teachers as to which optional is suitable for you, considering your background, considering the way you write, your educational qualification. So this is the way you should find whether you really have interest in a particular optional. Because choosing an optional is very important, as we just saw. Then, the second point you should consider is whether sufficient material is available in the market for your optional paper. Now, you might be interested in an optional like geology or medical science or law. So, a major factor is that whether you have the material available in the market which covers the entire syllabus. Because in many optionals, there are, many parts of the syllabus of particular optionals are not available in the market. So, UPSC will ask you questions from each and every part of the syllabus. So, you should first ensure whether sufficient material and complete. So, it's sufficient and complete material is available or not in the market. So then you have optionals like history, geography. These are options where enough material will be available. Sociology, psychology. Whereas for maybe mathematics or geology, maybe the entire syllabus will not be covered in the material available in the market. Then the third factor you should consider, the third important factor that you should consider before choosing an optional is the overlapping syllabus with GS. Now this is again a very important factor because ultimately GS has 1000 marks in the whole scheme of the exam. So you should also try to choose an optional which can be of some help in GS. If not more, at least it should some way, it should be helpful in your GS paper 1 to 4. So if we take example of an optional like say geography or say pol science or say sociology. So geography is a major part of your GS paper 1. It carries around 50 to 70 marks in your GS paper 1 out of 250. Pol science in a similar way is very helpful in GS paper 2. GS paper 2 essentially comprises of pol science. Sociology is again GS paper 1 to 4, it will be useful, especially in GS paper 1 where it comprises of say around 80 marks. So these are also some of the parameters that you should consider before choosing an optional subject. The fourth important point is going to be your scaling. Although this should not bother you, the prime importance should always be your interest, irrespective of what is the trend of that particular optional in the last few years. But some students also see the scaling pattern of an optional. Now I'll explain what is scaling exactly. Now we all are aware that UPSC does scaling in many papers. So scaling can effectively take you down by say 20 to 40 marks in your mains examination in the optional. So suppose you're scoring say around 280 and minus 40 marks of scaling in that particular optional that year will bring you down to 240. So which is a very big difference. A difference of 40 marks is a big difference. So there is also a trend which you see in scaling. Like if you see from 2011 to 2017 mains, which got over last year, geography, public administration, these two options and a few more have been scaled. Because of that, many students having these optional papers have suffered. They, even after writing good answers in the mains have not got the kind of scores they were expecting, and because of that they couldn't get a rank. Although interest should be of prime importance, material should be of prime importance, your overlapping syllabus is also important, but scaling is something that you should look after these three things you have already taken into consideration. So, geography and PubAd have been scaled, which is why these optionals, which used to be very popular once upon a time, have become very unpopular now amongst the aspirants. Now, moving on to some other secondary factors. Fifth, I would say, is the amount of the syllabus of your optional paper. This is again very important, because if your option has a vast syllabus like geography, it will take more time to cover the optional. Whereas if you have an optional like sociology or PubAd or something similar, the syllabus is very much defined, so it can be easily be completed in say 2.5 to 3 months. Whereas an option like history or geography or pol science can take much more time. So this syllabus is ultimately related to your time factor, time of preparation factor. Then the last thing that you should consider is whether you have guidance available. So there are many students who like to join coaching classes for their optional papers. In fact, most of them do join to just get that edge. I would not say coaching classes are must if you have to clear, but yes, they do provide you some kind of an edge, and if you have been guided properly, it gives you a 30 to 40 mark advantage in your optional paper. So there are some optionals like say medical science or botany, zoology, mathematics, where you might not get ready guidance. You might have to prepare it on your own, because not many professors are available to teach those options. So guidance could be one of the factor that you can consider. So if you see these 6 factors that we have laid down, your interest should come first, the material should come second, the syllabus should come third, your overlapping GS should come fourth, your scaling should come 5, and guidance should come 6. This is the order in which you should give importance to the factors before choosing your optional exam. Now, going as per the trend of UPSC, there are some options which have become very popular. So I'll just write down a few popular optionals. First optional which is popular among students is history. Another option popular is geography. This is based on the last 10 to 15 years of UPSC exams and the data collected from them. Most of the students, around say 80 to 90% of the students appearing in the mains examination, take options amongst these. Third option could be your pol science. Fourth is your PubAd, that's public administration. Then comes sociology. Then comes psychology. And then optional which has recently become very popular comes anthropology. And then one more optional maybe is philosophy. Now these are optionals related to humanities. So any student can take these optionals. Whether you are an engineer, a doctor, a chartered accountant, a BA, BSc, BCom, a commerce graduate, a science graduate, or an arts graduate, any one of you can take any one of these 8 optionals. So basically these are the 8 most popular optionals that students or candidates opt. So almost going as per the trend, let's say around 12,000 candidates if they give mains, or say let's 10,000 candidates give mains every year, almost 8,000 to 9,000 candidates will be having optionals amongst these 8. So these are why these options are popular. As I said, anyone can study these because they are very general in nature, most of them. You need not have a specialization or a particular degree in these papers to take these papers. So these options have become very popular. Apart from that, if I go on the science side, there are a few optionals which are popular. Let's say medical science is one of them, mathematics is one of them, and say there are some engineering optionals like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, which students take. So, but these are not as popular as these. You will hardly find, including all the science optionals, science papers, you find that around say 500 to 1000 candidates would be taking these optionals. And then there are a few taking literature subjects like Hindi literature, and then you have some people taking management optionals. So the point remains that these are the most popular optionals because these have given results over the years. So now, why sociology? Because I am here to tell you why sociology is the most safe, the most rewarding, and the most easy optional to study, even amongst these 8. Now, if you remember the points we had laid down, first is your interest. Now, sociology is an optional which talks about society, the people living in the society, the way they interact with each other, the social organizations that take place, the social institutions that are in place. So these are very general terms. It's always nice to, think about how people interact, why they interact in a particular manner. Why is our society this way, the way we are? These are of interest to everybody. There will be topics like religion, politics. There will be topics about social change that is coming in the society. There will be topics on capitalism, communism. There are thinkers in sociology that you will study. So these are things which are close to every person's heart. We experience sociology every day in our life. It is not a special study, it's a very general study. So, in short, the general nature of sociology makes it a very easy optional for anybody to study. Secondly, we had listed about the material. So there is ample material and coaching available for sociology optional. So that is one more thing that is very important. Then, the third thing that we discussed was the scaling part. Now, at least in the last 15 to 20 years that we have seen, there has been no scaling in sociology till now. PubAd, geography, history, psychology, they have all undergone scaling, because of which many candidates have suffered. You would be hearing number of cases where students having history optional or geography optional or public administration optionals have shifted to papers like sociology, anthropology, because these have never been subject to scaling by UPSC. Then another point that we discussed was the time factor. Now, the time required to prepare this is anywhere between 2 to 3 months, which is still much lesser than options like geography and history, where these can require around 3 to 4 months and this will require 4 months. So again, the time of preparation here is very less. This is because the syllabus is very limited. The syllabus is very much defined and very much limited. And if you go through the syllabus of sociology, it's written in a very, very channelized manner, point form, so that there's no ambiguity about the syllabus. So the dynamism of the optional is much lesser as compared to the other options. Then another factor which we discussed is the overlapping nature of the optional with the GS. Now if you see sociology, it will be helpful for you in GS paper 1 to 4. Majorly in GS paper 1, where it contributes around 70 to 100 marks of your GS paper 1. But apart from that, even in GS paper 2, you have issues like pressure groups, NGOs, and civil services in democracy. These all issues are a part of your sociology syllabus. Then in GS paper 3, you have topics like liberalization of the economy, you have topics of nationalism in internal security. So these are also a part of your sociology syllabus, paper 2 of sociology syllabus. Then in GS paper 4 again, you have topics like human values and emotional intelligence when you talk about. And then there are studies of reformers and administrators in your GS paper 4. So to an extent, these reformers and these religious revivalism, religious reformism, all these topics are taken up in your sociology optional. And then again, apart from your GS paper 1 to 4, it is very useful in the essay paper. So at least 2 to 3 topics out of your 8 topics in the essay paper would be based on society, social groups, would demand something as, you should have a sociological angle to the whole essay. So it can be very helpful to you in choosing your essay topics. Like for example, in the 2017 mains, you had issues on the topics on farmers and women. So these are very much, if you have prepared well in sociology, you can very well attempt the essay paper and get very good marks. Then another important thing about sociology is it's also helpful in your PT, that's your personality test or the interview. Because when you're sitting in front of the panel there, ultimately a civil servant is a servant of the society. So each and every aspect of civil services is linked to the society because it's ultimately for the social good. So the panel sitting in front of you would expect you to have society in every aspect of your decision making. How can your decisions first be beneficial to the society? How can you be of use to the society through civil services? So it is very helpful for you to form an opinion and analyze issues from a sociological angle. So overall, if you see, these are all things which basically comprise of the scheme of your examination. So that's why sociology becomes a very rewarding and a very popular option amongst the candidates. So now I'll just go into a bit of stats for you to show how this is the case. Now these are data given by these are data given in the UPSC annual report. These are some of the optionals that are very popular as we discussed. So, in the exam, we'll just have a look at the success rate of these optionals in the 2014, 15 and 16 UPSC exams. Now, history in 2014 had a success rate of 8.3%. Now that basically means for every 100 candidates writing mains with history optional, 8 candidates finally managed to qualify the exam. Similarly, for 2015 it was 7.7%, for 2016 it was 6.5%. So clearly you can see here that there has been a downtrend. I would mark this in red. There has been a downtrend. Now, looking at geography. Geography in 2014 had a success rate of 7.2%. Then it went to 5.6% in 2015. And then in 2016 it was 7.3%. Now these figures are given by the UPSC annual report. These figures are not made up. So in this you can say it's around say 6% is the average rate. The average of this, if you say, it will be around say 6%. So for every 100 candidates there are 6 candidates who are qualifying the exam finally with geography optional. In this, you can again say the rate would be around say 7.5% for history, but the important thing is it's showing a downtrend every year. Then we talk about psychology. Psychology, you have a success rate of 7.9% in 2014, 9.8% in 2015, and 15.8% in 2016. This was very high. So this is an aberration here. So basically we can see is the success rates for psychology are varying. They are not uniform. If you have a good year, if you are lucky enough, maybe 15% result in psychology. But if you are unlucky, you can be as low as 8%. And in the years prior to 2014, the rates for psychology varied between 5 to 6%. So this has been recently been the trend in psychology optional. So we can, if you want to conclude the psychology optional, there is huge variation. Huge variation, as you can see, from 7.9 to 15.8. It's not stable. If you have a good year, you can do well. Then, moving on to public administration. Now, public administration was a very, very popular optional till 2011 because the syllabus is very short and it is, directly linked to administration part. So many people, many candidates used to take public administration as the optional. But we'll see the trend in the last 3 years. Now, in 2014, public administration had a success rate of 5.1%. In 2015, it had a success rate of 6.2%. In 2016, it has a success rate of 10.6%. So it is varying between 5 to 10. So we'll say like the average of this would be around say 7.5%. And this was very large before 2011. It was almost about 12 to 13%, which has come down to 7.5%. Now we'll talk about political science. Political science again, in 2014 it had 10.9, then it dropped to 6.1 and then 6.3. So this again, the average, I would say, if you take the average, it will be somewhere around, say, 7.5% again. Considering the 3 years paper, the 17 and the 18 means 18, the results are still not out. and you will be preparing for 19, and 17 the UPSC annual report has not yet come out, so the data is not available presently. So then you have anthropology, which has recently become a very popular optional, but we will see what is the problem with anthropology. Anthropology had in 2014 a success rate of only 6.6%. That was very low, and not many people used to opt for anthropology. But then from 2015 it started picking up. It's 11.8% in 2015 and it's 11% in 2016. So as you can clearly see, there is a huge uptrend in anthropology. But at the same time, if you just take the average, it is around say 8 to 9%. Now the problem with anthropology, well, the syllabus is very short. Anthropology is in fact considered the younger brother of sociology, because they both study society but in different periods and different scenarios. Now, but the problem with anthropology is the variance is very high. This is an uptrend, and there was an uptrend in 2017 also, where many candidates qualified the exam with anthropology. So this could have gone up to say 12 to 13% in 2017. But then the risk of taking anthropology increases, because UPSC has a knack. So the problem with anthropology is that it is at a risk of being scaled, because UPSC, as I told you, has a knack of scaling particular optional subjects which become very popular amongst the students. So that is the risk which anthropology faces in the 2018 and 19 and 20 attempts, because the same thing happened with public administration and history and geography. So yes, no doubt it is a very popular optional today, but it has a risk of being scaled. So as of now, the average success rate in anthropology is around 8 to 9%. Now that leaves us with sociology. Now I'll tell you why sociology is a safe option. In 2014, the success rate for sociology was 9.2. Then it became 9.1 and then it became 10.6. Now what does this say? These figures say this option is very stable. It's neither there has been a tremendous uptrend nor there has been a tremendous downtrend. The stability is maintained. If you further see in 2017, the rate is still around 10 to 11% for 2017 exam. That's my guess about the optional. So ultimately the average you will get is around 9.5%. So now if you compare all the figures, this is 7.5 having a downtrend. So history is not a very wise choice unless you are really confident about the optional and you feel that you can do well irrespective of the trend. Geography is giving a 6% success rate, which is very low. It is not even in the 2 digits. Forget about 2 digits, it is being scaled very badly in the last 5 to 7 years. Public administration again will give you something around a 7.5%, and it's also not going through the best of its phases. Political science again 7.5%, but considering the vast syllabus of political science, the analytical approach required, political science is not an easy option to cover unless you are again very interested or you have a background in political science. Anthropology, right now as I told you, the trend is good, 11.8, 11. In 2017 would have been around 12%, but the risk is of scaling. We don't know about the 2018 results. When they are out, we'll be able to find a trend after this, what happened to anthropology. There have been many toppers who have cleared through anthropology, but again there is a risk. Psychology shows a huge variation, it is not stable. It can give you a variation anything between say 7% to 15%. So you never know, and plus psychology is a bit technical subject. It's not as general as sociology. It's not as simple as sociology. So sociology, if you see in all these parameters, whether you call it the syllabus, the length of the syllabus, the time you require to prepare the optional, the easiness or the difficulty level of the paper, the general nature of the paper, the success rate of the paper, the material that is available, coaching which is available, this optional stands out amongst all other options today. So, after having explained all this, I would like to make myself clear once again. It's your prerogative which optional you want to choose. But the only point I was trying to convey was why sociology is not only safe but also rewarding. Safe because it has not been scaled till now. It has given a very even success rate of 9.5%. That's why we call it a very safe optional. And it is rewarding. Why rewarding? Rewarding because you can easily score in excess of 300 marks out of 500. If you prepare the syllabus fully, if you know the fundamentals, you need not mug up anything in sociology. If you know the concept, you can write the answers. There's nothing which is outside the world, or there's nothing which you need to really analyze about in sociology. So, considering all these points, we come to a conclusion that, sociology has been successful, rewarding and very safe. Now, this was all I wanted to talk about regarding how to choose your optional, the comparisons between optionals, and why sociology stands out as both safe and rewarding. So, I hope after this video, you guys must be very much interested to read sociology, to give it a try maybe, and also senior players who have struggled with optionals like geography and public administration. You can also give it a try, because I know many people who have switched their option in the last couple of years to psychology, sociology or anthropology. So we here at ASHA Academy, our prime purpose is to ensure that our students know about all these things. They should know what is the rational approach to choose a particular optional paper. Of course, I keep on repeating again, it is ultimately your interest that is going to decide which optional you take. Now, there are many doctors, MBBS, MD doctors, who take medical science as the optional because they are comfortable with it. And there are at the same time many doctors who go for these subjects because they are not that confident about the subject. So the important point is, you should know where your interest lies. So my humble request to all you fellow aspirants would be, just go through the basic NCERTs, try to figure out which optional suits you. Then all these things come into picture. The first thing is going to be your interest, your liking about a particular paper. So now, as far as our batches that we are going to start on sociology, I will personally be taking sociology optional completely. Now, after having given you an overview of optionals, I would like to inform you about the way we are going to approach the optional. I will be taking personally the whole of sociology. There are going to be around 35 lectures which will be recorded just like this one, and we are going to provide you all these 35 lectures which comprise of both paper 1 and paper 2 of sociology. These lectures will be provided to you in a pen drive, in which you can watch the videos, rewind it, see it again, so that if there is any doubt regarding anything, you can go back to a particular part of the video and see it. These pen drives will be given to you, and there will be 35 lectures, 3 hours each. Around 3 hours, it can be between 2.5 to 3 hours. and we will be covering each and every point of the syllabus. There will be not even a single point of the syllabus which will be left uncovered, because sociology is such a general paper that questions are asked from each and every topic, each and every point. So we'll be covering each and every point in a very systematic manner, point by point, as per the UPSC syllabus. I would be first telling you which point of the syllabus I am going to cover, and then we will start the discussion. I will be telling you the sources which you should refer, because there are so many sources available in sociology that students often get confused whether to read Harlan Bose or to read Ignu or to read Ritzer or to read Mukherjee. There are many books available for both paper 1 and paper 2. I will be giving you a very crisp and very gist of the material which you can actually refer, which is important from exam point of view, rather than just overloading you with data and which you will not be able to finish. So I'll also be giving each and every point-wise syllabus, as the point-wise syllabus linked to the sources which are available or which you should be reading to excel in the paper. Then, not only are we giving you lectures, there is also going to be a test series. Now let me be very clear, in each and every lecture, I will be giving you around 2 to 3 questions which are UPSC questions asked in the last 10 to 20 years, which will be given to you in classroom or in your videos, and you have to write those answers and send it across to us to get them evaluated. See, ultimately, mains is an examination of writing. If you think that you can just read and you can, without writing practice, you can clear the exam, that's not going to happen, because writing is the difficult part. And most of the aspirants, lag in writing part. Reading, many people do a lot of reading, but it's only useful to a point. Ultimately, it's your writing skill that needs to be checked. Your answers need to be evaluated by the teachers. So, I'll be giving you 2 to 3 questions in every single video, and you have to write answer to each and every question and scan it and send it across to us and get it evaluated. Then, and I want to tell you one more point. The point is the high repeatability of questions in sociology. Like, if you just go through the last 20 years of papers of sociology, you will see that there is high amount of repetition. Same questions have been repeated many times, and that trend has continued. If you see the 2016, 17, 18 paper also, there are many questions which have been repeated, which have earlier come in 2005, 2007, 8, 9, which are again being repeated after 6 to 7 years. So that makes our task even more easy. So the questions that I will be giving you in class become all the more important, because there is a very high probability that the same question will be repeated in your exam. So you should take these questions very seriously. Now, talking about these lectures, now if you take these lectures, you get test series as well, which will come along with your course. Test series, we have 6 sectional tests plus 4 full-length tests. These are sectional, full-length. So these sectional are 3 in paper 1, 3 in paper 2 of sociology, and 4 full-length sectional tests exactly on the lines of UPSC exams. I have seen many coaching classes who take sociology as optional. They do give test series, but their papers are really not up to the mark. That's what I've observed. I've been a student myself of sociology. I've given 5 mains with sociology as an optional. So, what I have seen in my experience is that many coaching classes, if the professors are good, the test series is not of that quality. But here, our endeavor is to give you top class questions in test series and get them evaluated as soon as possible, because in other, I've seen at places where 20-25 days go by and your paper is not evaluated. That is not going to be the case here, and we have experienced evaluators. Many of the papers will be evaluated by myself. So what we can promise is that your papers will be evaluated in time, and they will be evaluated as per the UPSC marking scheme. The question papers themselves will be exactly as per the demand of the examination, and we will not overburden you with a lot of notes, materials, because there's no end to that. So these 35 lectures will be followed by 6 sectional tests. So you can basically finish watching these 35 lectures in 35 to 40 days if you watch one lecture a day and you prepare your own micro notes. So you can easily finish the optional and your micro notes in say less than 2 months. And considering the 2019 exam, which is the prelims is going to be in June and the mains examination will be in September. So this is the time you need to work hard with your optional. So my request to all the aspirants would be that you keep writing, not only in sociology or optional, in GS also. Keep writing, preparing from the mains point of view now. The last 4 months or so you can prepare fully for your prelims. But now, at least for the coming 3 months, you should be focused on your mains preparation, and optional forms a very important part of the preparation. So I guess this video would have been useful to you to rationalize your selection procedure for selecting the optional paper, and also I tried to give you a comparison and an analysis of various optional papers that are there in UPSC exam, and especially those 7 or 8 papers which are very popular in the examination. And another important point I wanted to discuss with you, that each and every of these tests will be having a live discussion video for each and every test of this. So all the students will be giving the discussion video in a virtual classroom where I'll be connected one-to-one with each one of you, and you can ask me any of your doubts, and we'll be discussing each and every question that was asked in the test series. We'll be discussing a model answer to the question. You will be getting a model answer to the questions, and you can have a one-to-one interaction with me through phone, through email, or through the virtual classroom. And I guess with that, I want to give you all the good wishes for those who are starting their preparation just this year, who are new to UPSC, as well as to all my senior friends, senior aspirants who have given their prime years to the preparation. I want to wish you all the best for the coming 2019 examination. I wish all of you excel and do well in the examination, and that will make us proud. Thank you very much.